So, this is the big week you've been waiting for.
I know.
What's happening?
This is SlapperCast episode number 69.
69, baby.
Yes.
69 and feeling fine.
Ah, great.
I was gonna get a cake, but I couldn't get it together. I couldn't with candles and shit. And I said 69 candle.
Okay.
Ah,
I couldn't pull it off. I just couldn't get it together.
So, as we already discussed in the previous show, that was the year you were born.
Was September? Yep.
It's also the year I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it? Because you also have it on your license plate, which is cool.
I have a tattoo on my hand too.
So, yeah. So, what is it about the number of your birth year that?
Well, I mean, it's a fun number to say.
Besides,
it makes people wonder too. You know, it makes people think a little bit like, oh, is that a sexual thing? No, it's not. That's the year I was born. I mean, come on, it just happens to work out.
I never think of that.
You know, if I was born in 71, it wouldn't. Who gives a fuck about 71? Nobody cares about 71.
I think they skipped 71, didn't they?
Yeah,
We should too.
well, 71 has a whole other meaning. But anyway, 68's I owe you one. You know, kind of. But you know, 69. I mean, that was the last year of. I mean, that was the year that you were born. It's the year I was born. It was the last year of the 60s, and after that, it all went crazy. So.
Mm-hmm.
You had Woodstock and Altamont in the same year, basically 4 months from each other, and they couldn't have been more polar opposite events in the history of rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, this is what the 60s was all about, and then Altamont was about, here's what's to come.
Did you see the documentary, the Maisleys Brothers, or Maisleys? Okay. You ever seen the documentary film about Altamont?
I've seen Gimme Shelter. I haven't seen...
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same guys who directed the Beatles' first U.S. visit. That
nice.
black and white documentary.
Yeah.
And those are like sort of like bookends. Like you say, there was like the early 60s and the crazy 60s.
Woodstock was kind of trying to be like the epitome of what the 60s were about, I think, kind of in a way. Like people trying to come together, kind of find common ground. Because the 60s were kind of like what's happening now. I mean, just turmoil and craziness. And then, this is going to be fine. And then Altamont showed up and it was like, fuck all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tragic.
Yeah. The fascinating thing about the Gimme Shelter documentary is that, of course, they didn't know. They already had the film crews were already there just to film the concert,
right?
And so then it turned in that event turned into what the film was about.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but yeah, that's the year I was born, and saw my license plate, and I'll probably change it this year just because it's expensive.
Now that I've told everybody.
No, we told everybody. No, that is just it's expensive to have a personalized license plate.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah, yeah. What's a private company now? It used to be
It's what's it called? Something here in Texas where it used to go through the state, and then this company took over, and it's if you buy it for like a couple years, and it's not as I shouldn't say not as expensive. It's expensive, but you buy it yearly. It's like $200 or something like that.
Oof.
Yeah, you take it deep when you want to broadcast. So.
Oof. Ouch.
I might just go back to something that says.
I never know how long I'm going to keep my car, so I'm afraid of commitment. So I'm not personalizing nothing.
Exactly.
The
magnetic signs are enough.
Yes,
those are removable.
Yes. You're out of here. Yeah. Next.
So anyway, what else is going on?
Well,
what isn't going on?
Yeah,
right
so we had a wonderful time last week back in the studio. We're young Paul Beebe has come out of, well, he's limited time. We have night. We're doing some night recording with Paul at BB Gun Studios, and it's been really, really fun. We kind of drew a line, and then we didn't. We actually drew a line and said, right now we're going to just come put the finishing touches on these songs, and that's been really fun. So we hadn't pulled yourself in there because we're not doing any group vocals yet. We're going to be doing some group vocals, but we're adding fiddle and some other instruments this week, and that's been really fun. And we're also getting we're in June now.
I know.
June already, and we've been getting phone calls. People are emailing us and calling, and hey, when are you playing again? We do not know. We cannot tell you when. I don't think there's going to be a June performance. I know we're doing a live stream on the 13th. We can announce that now. We're doing a live stream, and so that's the 13th of this month. That's Saturday. Saturday, yeah,
I believe so. Yeah.
yeah.
Second Saturday of the month.
That's going to be really fun. And what we're going to do for that too is, we're going to send out or ask for requests. So we're going to put together a request list, and I'm just going to say right now that I know what song I'm requesting. Yeah.
We get to request songs?
Well, yeah. Well,
You do anyway.
Yeah.
To me and Chad, though, is a question.
I know we just, but yeah. So we're going to put a request thing together. We're going to have I've got the evil thoughts in my head. But yeah, we're going to put that together, and we're going to get a big show put together, because we're working with the Ancient Order of Hibernians, and we're the national group. So we're going to raise money for hunger, and we're going to put on a show, and it's going to be wicked. It's going to be insane.
Wicked?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's important when you say something like that.
I just went above the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah. The Mason-Nixon line.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weren't we just talking about him?
No, somebody, that's a joke that somebody made years ago. I think George Carlin called it the Manson-Nixon line, or whatever, just to be funny. There's no
correlation between
Manson was in California and Nixon was in California. Wait a minute.
The penny drops.
Wicked, huh?
Wicked. Yeah, no,
can't wait.
It's going to be going great.
All right.
And it's just being able to set up and play your instrument. Nothing better. It's just nothing better. We'll walk around the neighborhood. Hey, are you working? I go, shut up. Back in your house. And
yeah. So I think we've touched on this probably every week, the past month or so. But the in Texas anyway, the stay-at-home order has been dropped now, right? Right?
Well,
I thought I saw that. Could be wrong.
From the government? From the governor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still in place here?
It's supposed to be.
Okay.
till next week, I think.
Because the bars are open now, as we already discussed. They're still at 25% capacity. Is that right? Are they raised it?
I think if it's outdoors,
is it
just free for all?
Yeah, that's what it looks
seems
like.
to be.
Certainly looks that way.
Yeah, there's
fucking hell, man.
But this is going back to the very beginning of this stuff. Thanks, Chad. It really is. But there's never been a black and white, things to do list. The most I could muster was wash your hands, and then the 6 feet thing came. Then it was 18 feet if you're out in the park or running. I said, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know.
Right. The point I was going to make is that the bars are open now, and I think we already touched on this aspect of it, but many of them still can't afford to hire us right at this point, because they're still trying to figure out how to fill the place and pay their employees on 25%.
Yeah, forget that. They're trying to dig out of a hole that they were thrown in for
at reduced capacity too.
Yeah, although I have seen that they are doing like duos and stuff like that. Like a lot of bars are having live music, but it's like duos, and I think that's either for the 6 feet thing, or they just want to have some kind of entertainment there for their guests.
And places are they just came right back, and they did these bars have been choked practically. Well, that's a bad analogy, but they've just been forgotten and just left to fend for themselves. And now, in opening up with 25% capacity, you can't pay your staff.
Right.
You can't. So 25%, is not going to, 50% it's not going to cut it. A lot of these places were at 75%, we're just seeing the light. So, I'm just talking like before all this crap. So,
yeah.
So there's no shortage of interest, and there's no shortage of people trying to band together and get this thing moving again. The sad truth is it's just impossible for nightlife to pick back up and to know what you're supposed to do in a situation like
yeah. I'm sure this is true for all bands who had fall tours right now. Scott's Southern Culture on the Skids just sent out a notification or an email a couple of days ago saying that they postponed their entire tour. They had this whole fall tour planned, I think, and so it's all pushed off until next year at this point. So they're not even going to bother trying to wait to see if things are going to go back to normal.
Yeah,
it's too much of an expense at this point.
Yeah, and in that regard too, as a band, do you sit by, like we've been doing? We've been sitting by the calendar, just knocking off the days. In that you're okay. Next week is too close to, for instance, T-Bone Tom's. We were scheduled for T-Bone Tom's this week, and we can't do that because they're not doing the full capacity. We can't. I know for a fact that our there's a wait when we play, and at this point with limited, with the social distance or whatever they're doing, there's a quarter of the tables couldn't get to see the show.
Yeah,
right.
So but it is, that's the bad news. The good news is that there's a definite little there's smoke on the horizon, and it looks like we might be able to start some fires from that. Once we get there.
Yeah.
But it's very, and it's a very interesting time, to say the least. And we've, in the people that we've talked to, fellow musicians and fellow professional part-time musicians, everybody's thanks Eric. Everybody's doing the same thing, sitting on their hands, waiting to go, waiting for that light to go off to where they can run back and start playing. And the solo and the duo guys seem to be doing very well already. People are just dying to get back out there, and the people that are, and I say fair play to you. Go get it.
Yeah.
Go take it.
Our friend Davey, for example, just had his first gig.
Oh, did he?
This past weekend, yeah. The Thirsty Turtle. And his one of his regular gigs. I think it was this past weekend. He was
good. In Port St. Lucie.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in Florida, you got to look up our friend Davey Bryan. He's not just a killer guitar player and singer, but great songwriter, and I think he's one of the few people that can quote something from every Monty Python skit.
Yeah.
Definitely worth your time. Worth your time,
indeed.
And
although I've had some friends up in Tennessee that have been playing full band gigs. We talked about this in the van the other day about, and I reached out to them to say, hey, what's this all about? And they're like, well, we're playing a lot of marinas up there. I guess there's lakes and rivers and stuff like that. They have marinas that have like outdoor stages. And she was saying that we do our best to keep ourselves, because they've been socially distancing almost like as a band, kind of like what we've been doing during the whole thing, during the whole quarantine. She's like, but when we go on stage, we keep ourselves definitely away from the audience. She's like, but the audience is acting like nothing's ever happened.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all sitting together, they're all congregating. There's no 6 feet rule at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's mostly because it's Tennessee, number one, and number two, it's all outdoors. So they figure, well, if it's outdoors, then we have the right to kind of be whatever. So
yeah.
But she's
what's the name of the band? Is that
Drop Dead Dangerous?
Yeah, that's right.
They play at T-Bone Tom's a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always down there.
Yeah.
Every time they come, I'm always doing something. But next time they show up, I'll have to go say hello. Nice folks. Kitty and Melanie are the two lead gals, and then there's a couple of guys that play other instruments and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're. I know they're one of the favorites down there because Barry, the owner, is very keen on that band.
Yeah,
they're
good stuff.
Yeah, seem to be.
Melanie's got a really interesting. She plays drums, and she's got a really interesting setup. It's like cajon and djembe as a kick drum, and it's like a lot of hand percussion-y stuff, but it sounds like a drum set. So
interesting.
Drop Dead Dangerous. Look them up online. Okay. They're good band.
Cool. Yeah, along those lines with the people acting like everything's back to normal already, and in the audience, this is something that it's hard. It's not hard, but it's like sort of something that has occurred to me only after watching these riots and the riots, the riots. After watching these protests for the last few days, and because you see like there was some footage of I forget which city it was, but this huge march going down a street, thousands of people, and first they were peaceful protests, and I was like, my reaction first was like, great, and then later I'm thinking about going, oh man, I just hope that there's not. Like, I hope we don't see this huge spike in cases after 2 weeks from now because of all this. A lot of people in the same place that were not in the same place up until this. And I support people who are protesting 100%. But I just seeing the footage, there aren't enough. A lot of people are wearing masks, but quite a few of them are not while they're out there. And it seems especially important for them to be wearing it. Even some of the officials, like the Houston police chief. Gave a really great rousing.
He took his mask off for it.
But still, there was people all around him with less than 6 feet away from him, also not wearing masks while he was projecting. And I was watching because it was a great speech. I was like, yes. But at the same time, I'm going, damn it.
Come on, Art.
Please, let's not forget what's going on right now. But anyway, but that's a lot of insane things going on right now, to say the least.
True.
Yeah. Stick out of this one.
It's kind of hard not to mention it.
It's affected everybody, and it's infected this country for so long that there's not going to be one riot that fixes it, nor one riot that breaks it. It's so deep, and it's tarnished. It's tarnished everybody. I mean, there's just nobody. I was telling we're talking at dinner last night, and there's nobody with clean hands in this, and it's time. Of course, it's been time. For 400 years, it's been time to come together and fix this, and we just don't have the leadership for it.
No.
And, this has to start with, and I've been telling my kids this, since as long as they've had ears, and telling them, this is your fight now. You have to get your leaders in place, because these old wankers, are not doing it.
Yeah.
And they're not in it for you. So you have to, we failed. We know we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting thing to think about with this the enormity of the response to this, which is all justified. I don't support the rioting, obviously, but the protests and everything are needed. But I wonder how much the pandemic and the shutdowns have sort of
added to the
floor. Are people already just had enough?
I think it's actually a big factor.
Yeah,
yeah, and they're going to be watching. They're going to be watching for these spikes in cases and stuff like that. And if there isn't a huge spike too, there's going to be a lot of vitriol. There's going to be a lot of I know people are going to feel had. There's going to be there's going to be a. So I don't know. Like I say, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of healing to be done. There's a lot of questions that need answers, and I just I know it's still we're still in the fray as we sit here right now. But the first comment that says it's not the time to talk about it. That's always been the go-to line after this. Well, no,
let's wait.
Let's
No,
for what? Till you're out of office? Till another 80 years till you're out of office? No.
And I just think a lot of people have been saying this online. I just think it's irresponsible to not talk about it. You can't just pretend that nothing's going on. So
it's on our doorstep.
Yeah,
it's on our doorstep. On running on Saturday, right by the parkway where the cops have shut the entrances to downtown, and then I see 10 police cars in a row flying off to another location, and so we're in the thick of it. We can smell it from your front door.
A lot of helicopters in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's just that it's SlapperCast number 69, or maybe it's, maybe there's a lot of shit going on, but there's
Maybe it's both.
yeah, but it's just, and it's all over the country. It's you can't escape it. And, I got, my dad's in New Mexico, and he's, hey, what's happening? You guys all right? And I go, yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it. It's close.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
So I guess we have to have an awkward segue into something else now.
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. Remember, wash your dog.
Wash your dogs. Wash your mitts. Wash your mutts.
So were we going to talk about people getting fired from bands and stuff like that?
Because of social injustice.
I've been fired plenty of times.
Have you?
Yeah. Of course you have. How can you not grow as a musician if you don't have some adversity?
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Wait, am I fired? You just fire me? You done. Well, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how you behave and how the band leader behaves. And I mean, I've been asked to leave, and I've quit a bunch of stuff because this just wasn't working out.
Yeah.
And that's just how, that's life. You're not going to stay in the same job forever. You're not going to stay in the same band forever.
I mean, how many bands have split up versus leaving, fired? There's so many. Just even going around the three of us now talking about the current situation, there's so many different takes on it. But then you put a band in, and you put this artist, you put this artist cloak across this, this table. You get so many different, because we've had, I don't even know how many members we've had come and go. And it's a real, I'm coming back to your quick, because we're not letting that go. I got to hear some of this. But listening, going through this. So I've never been fired from a band because
You've only been in one band.
Well, I've started a few bands, but I've never,
Yeah.
I started the band. Fire me, I dare you.
Right.
Oh, you all quit? Oh, guess what? You're fired. No. So, I mean, this is really the only, the only band I've really, ever. So, but there's so much that goes into it. We talk about the touring, and we talk about the setup and the load up, the sound check, the dealing with the people that come to see you, meaning, don't be that wanker that jumps in the backstage area and, sits on the phone. They came to, if there's an opportunity, you go talk to them, that's how it is. Excuse me. And when when you're in that, you take that job because you don't want to be in the, I was joking the other day with you guys about, my house is set up to where, when I push the toaster, there's a applause, like, nice job. Yeah. And musicians are so, artists are so weird in that, because the thing that, God, this is a fucking wormhole here. When we do the live stream, it dawned on me, I don't need the applause and stuff. In my head, it's just, we know that we're entertaining people because we've seen the comments from the last one, or just knowing what's going on in your ears, what you're hearing, what we're playing, and this has to be the least rehearsed we've ever been as Blaggards. I mean, this is this current and I have to say, I don't know. I can't tell you times where I've walked away from a rehearsal or a gig, a live stream, and just going, that was cool. It still hasn't brought me to listen to any of them, the recordings, but I just go away just going, wow, that feels really good. Anyway, walking backwards through the mess I've just created.
Thank you.
Of of putting these artists together and these different ideas of what the music. So Eric comes in, Blaggards is X years old, and you say, I'm gonna steer them in a more folky, prog rocky, maybe a little poppy direction.
Maybe a little disco.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen. That's you can shake it and you can push it and pull it all you want. It just doesn't happen because it's been formed. It's the roots have taken. So what we're doing now is we're growing up, hopefully, and we play together. And I spoke to Mike last week and I had a great conversation with Mike McAloon, and hour-long conversation. Good. And just he's doing really, really well. Misses everybody. And we are going to have him call in one of these shows. We just absolutely are going to have him do that. But he when we play, we rehearse every week, sometimes twice a week, and and it was tight. It was just as I remember, you said that too. You said that when you heard us before, and now it's tight, but it's looser. In we don't have the set. There's different fills, there's different intros, there's different. I'll change it up in the song. So there's a looser feel to it. And then walking back again to the first point being all these musicians that we've played with, some that we just, we respect them all. We, whether we got along personally or not, we respect them all. And we, but they're just, there's bands that you're just not going to play with, that you're not going to get to play with because your musical idea is different, and your outlook for what you want to play is different. So you want to go in a completely different. And this is not an easy band as far as we tour a lot. We work hard. The setup and the teardown is really it can be intense, and it's I don't know the percentage of our shows. I would guess 90% are outdoors.
Yeah,
it seems like a bunch are. Yeah.
Historically, it's been true.
So in Texas, that's not a great business model, but we do it, and we, I enjoy it. I mean, so going back to this, so I need to hear some of these breakup. I quit.
This is where this is going.
Yeah. Well, I wandered all the way into the wilderness, and I was scavenging. Through this, through these, but I mean, it's, like I say, it was a wormhole. As I tend to do after a bucket of coffee, I go off in different. But I knowing that, people always say to us, "Hey, you guess another fiddle player, another one." Yeah, I mean, it's. Would you, be one of these bands that stayed together as the same unit for X amount of years? Yeah, of course you would, if everybody's pulling for the same, right?
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Like you mentioned at the beginning of that long and confounding monologue. I'm kidding, of course. Was that, with the setup,
watch your back.
New guy.
Yeah.
Fucking new guy. The travel, the setup, the gig, the hang, those are the the big important. Well, that's what it is, and that's the life that we've chosen, and like with Blaggards, maybe there's some people that couldn't do one of those things, or they couldn't do two of those things,
or any
of them. So that's why there's definitely a core to you guys, just like there's a core to like the Alan Oldies band. There's a core to that band, and then there's some revolving doors, and because people can't make a gig, or they don't make the gig, they just can't cut it or whatever. So, but as far as my experience has been, it's been a clash of personalities sometimes. Like I can be very difficult to work with sometimes. And you're nodding your head like yeah. If I have an idea about something and I think we should do this, and it doesn't really work out that way, or like the first time I got fired was I was playing with, I don't give a fuck, I'll tell Mike Barfield of the Hollisters, and I've been playing with Mike as the Hollisters for a while, and then he started to morph into the Mike Barfield thing or the Barfield thing, which is kind of more the funk, and it was a soul thing, and then it became this weird funk thing. Anyway, we were playing one night at Egos, and we played there. I think we played there every couple of weeks or so. I can't remember what the schedule was. It was Tuesday night late, and the gig was always at 11:30. Gig started at 11:30. Always, 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 always. And it's like 11:15, and I'm putting my shirt on, getting ready to leave the house, and the phone rings, and it's Mike. I'm like, "Hey, Mike, what's up?" He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, I'm getting ready to go to Egos. What's up? He's like, "Gig starts at 11." I said, "No, it's 11:30." He's like, "No, it's 11." I go, "It was 11:30 last time. It's 11. Get down here." Okay. So hauled ass down. It wasn't very far from my house, luckily. Set up in record time. And there was just this weird energy.
Yeah.
During the whole gig.
Yeah.
I hit a crash cymbal. He turns around. He's like, "Your crash cymbals are really loud tonight." Okay, fine, whatever.
Should I talk to Sabian?
Finished the gig, and then got paid, and okay, thanks. And it was just weird, and then no communication. And then I happen to look in the paper, and it said Barfield playing at the Continental Club on Saturday night. And I call Mike. I go, "Hey, are we playing Saturday?" He's like, "No." I said, "Well, the paper says we're playing." He's like, "Oh, no, I got
that.
He's like, "I got somebody else for that." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Were you going to call me?" "No." "Why not?" "Well, I mean, it's my band. I can do what I want." I said, "Yeah, but I mean, we've been playing together for like 2 years now. We traveled. We've done a lot of shows. I figured the least you could do is give me a..." And then it was like, fuck you.
Really?
Yeah, I escalated the phone call. Yeah, I was like, "This is fucking bullshit. This is not how you treat somebody that's been in your band for, Whoa. And he pulled up, "Well, it's my band. I can do whatever I want." I said, "You at least owe someone that you've worked with for 2 years.
It's my band, and I can
Exactly.
do it.
Take notes." And I just like, I mean, it was just and at the same time, I was kind of like, "Man, I'm kind of bored with this band anyway. I don't like the direction it's going." All my friends that were starting, like Chris Miller and Dave Biller, and Preston and Brad were slowly starting to work their way out anyway. Chris was going to move, and Dave was doing something else then, and the band was starting to change anyway. I guess I can justify it that way. But just give someone a courtesy call. Say, "Hey, you know what?" And I think it's because either he wanted to get rid of me and didn't really have a way to do it, or I was late that one time.
Yeah, that doesn't
to a gig that the time changed. That happened with Freddie Steady Kirch too. He said, "Okay, the gig's on the 27th. Awesome, I'll be there." And then I booked something for the 20th, the week before, with somebody else. And then he called me back, and he's like, "Yeah, so you good for the 20th?" I said, "No, I'm good for the 27th. "Oh no, the gig's on the 20th." I said, "I have it written down right here, Freddie Steady, on a piece of paper, 27th. "No, that's not what I said." That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did he say it's my band and I can do what I want?
It kind of came down to that.
Yeah. Damn it.
But luckily, over time, me and Mike have become friendly again.
Yeah.
Me and Freddie became friendly again. And even when I moved back to Austin back in 2010, I said, "I'm going to reach out and, mend some fences here." And so I sat down with Freddie at Threadgill's back when Threadgill's was open, and we had lunch, and he brought it up again to kind of rub my nose in it a little bit, which I didn't really appreciate. He's like, "Well, I told you that's why we had trouble the first time was because I told you about." I'm just like, "Really, Dad? Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Yeah." And the funny thing is, it gets better. The funny thing is, he's like, "Okay, we're going to play at the Austin Pizza Garden from 10 to 12 on Wednesday." "Awesome. I'll be there." "Do they have backline?" "Yes." "Perfect, because I have a gig with Mike Stinson at the Continental Club at 12:30. So it gives me plenty of time to get to your gig. I can pack up. I can be at the Continental Club by 12:20. Plenty of time to do this show. This is going to be great. I can't wait. He says, "You're doing it again." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're doing it again. You're taking other gigs instead of mine." I said, "No. I'm totally going to be at your gig. I'm going to be there at 9:30. Going to set up. Going to play the show. As soon as the show's over, I'm going to bolt and get to my other gig. It's going to be awesome." That's what Austin musicians do. I mean, that's what any, you're booked and you're playing and you have to work. Because you're professional.
Yeah.
Wait. If you're a professional musician, you do what you can to take as many gigs, etc. And Freddie's like, "I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think I want to do this anymore." I said, "Tell me what you want to do." He's like, "I'm going to sub out that gig." I'm like, "Awesome. Cool. Have a good night." And I went and played with Mike Stinson. It was fine.
But the other thing too is
it was fine because it's fine. Yeah. We talked about that in the car. It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because obviously he couldn't, either he didn't want to understand what I was trying to say, or he felt slighted because I was an Austin musician playing in more than one band, which is
I know people like that.
Yeah.
That just do not want anything outside of, no, this is how you live. This is your and then and as an Austin musician, especially the pay is never, everybody wants $1,000 a night per man. Nobody's getting it.
Yeah.
So
it's 4 times the work for, honestly, the way Blaggards runs their business, which is way better than most bands do. I'm not saying I don't want to work, but in Austin, it's 4 to 6 times playing versus one Blaggards gig.
It's,
you know what I mean?
It's constant. I do. I mean, but it's a constant. I talked to these guys. We played with them. We played with some of those guys, and they're just running from gig to gig to pay the rent. And I mean, yes, they love what they do, but that's the life they chose.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're in it for long haul, and if I go back to the professional musician that only plays, once in a while. I don't know how professional that is, and it drives me up the wall that these musicians of your caliber are running from gig to gig to play, or these bands are playing multiple shows a night.
And $40 is $40. Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it hurts. It just hurts because I know the quality of the. Like I said a few minutes ago, when we're playing and we're as unrehearsed as we've ever been, but there's a new. It just sounds goofy, but there's a new tightness about the way we play, and I mean, we just don't fall off. The thing that we loved about playing with Mike is we never train wrecked. There was never a song, no matter how new or how old or how spontaneous a song was. We never train wrecked. And that was to Mike's credit. Mike would just keep going through.
Yeah.
So we met. And then you come along and you've got, that's not the same fill. You didn't do that same drum fill last time. But I know what you're doing. And then a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, you did a different fill for a change. And I came in. I came in early on at the end of the fill, not because I didn't trust you. It's just because I felt that the song had, and I spaced for a second. And this is the thing: we are, as you put it, doing surgery while jumping out of a plane.
Right.
So this is how it is, because you're not. You try to explain. You don't have to explain. I'm dealing with the audience. I'm dealing with the guitar. I'm dealing with the vocals. Deal with the whole, staying at the same place. So at that, I remember that moment as clear as day in my head, which is not usual for me. But I remember that exact moment, and I just came in on the guitar.
Yeah.
And as I did, I turned to you and was like, "Oh, God, I know what you're doing, even though it's a new fill, and I know where we're going to come back in." I just for 1 second panicked, and I hit but then there was nothing that anybody would have noticed.
And that's not my intention.
Yes.
To confuse anybody.
No, I know it's not, but it's so much fun. It's so there is that element of what is coming now, and it's great because you got to stay on. We've always talked about how we insist on not it being a completely different show every time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear, if we play 3 songs back to back to back, that in the same order, that's a complete fluke. It's just, and not that we're going out of our way we do go out of our way to switch it up, but if we do 3 songs back to back to back, it's a fluke. There's just not many times that there's some songs that just go really, really good together right out. Really, really, really fast one that goes into a slow one, or ish that comes back, whatever it is. And so the thing I just love about playing live is that, dancing on the high wire on that, having that, you've got so much room to fail, yet there's just that tiny little room to squeak by being on, and it's just that's a thrill to me.
Well, that's the sign of being a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chad, fired from a band, quit, broke up.
I've never been fired from anything. Yeah.
Let's switch that today. Episode 6.
No, I never bands. I mean, most of the bands I've been in, I either had a hand in starting it, like this one, or I came in like really early, So no, I've never been fired from anything. We've definitely had to fire a lot of people. It was funny when you were telling the Mike Barfield story. I was thinking, because I was guilty of doing what Mike did to you. The whole band was really, but in Elemental Penguin, my first band, we fired our first drummer just by ghosting him, by not telling him what was going on. It was terrible.
Yeah,
we were in high school.
Yeah, in your high school, it's different back then.
Not that was any kind of excuse. So he was a friend of ours, and he was a drummer. Who
those two things don't go together.
Yeah, exactly.
We were all seniors, and he was a freshman, so that already was, it's funny how when you're that age, it's only a 3-year age difference, which means nothing now. Of course, when you're 16, 17, it's all the difference in the world.
Sure.
But so we were all new to being in a band, really. But some of us as musicians were more experienced than others. I was brand new. I mean, I'd only been playing guitar, I think maybe 6 months at that point. But I was really just singing in this band. I wasn't really playing guitar. And we had a guitar player who was pretty much an amateur as well. And Dwight, our keyboardist, was the most experienced of all of us, I think. And our bass player, I think Jason had only started playing bass like less than a year before. So we're all kind of new. So the fact that Neil was a new drummer, so I just name dropped him.
All right.
Now you know what I'm talking about. If he's watching, of course he knows anyway. But he was brand new to it as well. But we were just we spent like the first 6 months of the band like kind of playing the same song over and over again, and it became clear some of us were improving and some of us just weren't. So halfway through, and but at this point we had a booking. We were offered to play the school dance in February.
Nice.
And but we realized we were just going in circles with Neil, which was really uncomfortable. So we wound up talking to our friend Arunan, who was in the jazz department, the jazz band at PVA, at HSPVA, a really great drummer. So we just started working with him, and then we just stopped. Neil would go, "Are we rehearsing this week?" We're like, no, just too busy. It was terrible what we did.
Yeah, it's okay.
And eventually he figured it out and says, "I figured out what you guys doing. You guys are assholes." Sorry. We were just all cowards. We didn't want to.
That's a big part of it.
Ever just have a talk with him. But Neil and I remained friends after that. Though it was, we were kids.
After you told him the bass player did it.
It was all his fault.
We were all complicit. Yeah. So
the last group, I shouldn't say the last group that I was in, but I guess the last group that I was in, basically the band leader sent the band an email, I collected to everybody saying, "This is what I need out of you guys. I need this. If you can't do it, get out." I'm like, I guess I'm out then.
Yeah.
But basically it was his way of getting rid of me so that he could keep the rest of the band, kind of a thing. Because the rest of the band was like, "Yeah, we'll do whatever," And he probably knew that I wasn't going to, because he and I had been butting heads for a while. So he probably knew that I was going to be like, fuck this, I'm done. And he was right. And it worked out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's never ever fun to have to get rid of somebody. It was really fun the last time replacing Mike because Mike was set up. You know, he had to do a lifestyle change and he had to get his life going in that direction, and he was happy and he was just gung ho and he's just running forward, and we were, we had spoken, months before. Just what's going? We haven't spoken in a while. And we had coffee at Catalina and whatnot, and then everything just kind of gelled, and it just kind of fell in. So it was that's nearly a fairy tale.
That's a happy story. Yeah, definitely.
But in rock, there's not that many. I remember watching a band interview with or some music video where they were interviewing Clive Burr, one of Iron Maiden's first drummer on record anyway. And my friends I grew up with, we thought Clive Burr hung the moon. We just thought this guy was the greatest drummer of all. And if you listen to Killers or Iron Maiden, you'll agree this guy was just, but not fun to watch in that he looked so labored when he played. I just thought that he just looked like he was, holding on for dear life. But besides that, to listen to what this guy put on the records and to for somebody like Nico to have kept his stuff throughout these years, the majority of it anyway, is just a testament. But anyway, watching the interview with him, he was saying, yeah, I didn't want to leave. They just replaced me. They just told me. And I understand now why they did what they did. But to play at that level and to be replaced, you just got to wonder
what else is going on
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And there's no like the artists who put this amount of artistic ability and this these mind these directions that these minds go in, and you put them all in the same room trying to play on the same stage. That's a task.
Yeah,
it's a task, and I hope rock and roll bands make it look easy, but it's not easy.
No.
Yeah.
I wonder with Clive, do you think we often mention the hang, as you call it? I wonder, could it have been a personal issue with him, you think?
Again, I don't know. To me, I wouldn't say it would have been a personal issue, just because in the few hundred interviews I've seen with Steve Harris, the guy that it's my band and I can do what I want. Right. That guy, he is so laid back and such an honest musician. And then there's very few of them. There's very few people that you can say, I know what he's thinking. I know where he's going. I know what because he wears it on his sleeve. He's everything he's ever wanted to do and accomplish.
He's done it. Yeah.
In Iron Maiden, he's done that.
Yeah.
So I just can't see him being a very backstabbing, or I could see him as being one of the easiest people to speak to in rock, meaning just as comfortable as we are talking. He is, he's not comfortable on camera. He's never been, in a one-on-one interview. That's why they have Eddie, their mascot, on all the records. They don't want them on the, it's just genius. And then the same thing with Dave Murray, soft-spoken, but just painfully smart. Adrian Smith, same thing. Nico, he's the guy they push
he's
out.
Kind of
he's the bombastic.
Yeah, he's the goofball. Yeah,
gigantic. Yeah, personality. Beyond. Yeah. And then Yannick Gers is kind of the he's your Mullen that walks off for 2 hours.
Right.
On what's supposed to be a sandwich stop, and he's up in the tomb of the pharaohs. Just, what? So yeah.
Well, maybe Steve had a different vision for what that band was gonna become, and I mean that requires a personnel change.
Yeah.
Nothing against his playing. Maybe there's just something else that was there. Who knows?
Yeah, but you come off an album like Number of the Beast, and then into Peace of Mind, which we've often, Where Eagles Dare being the first fill you hear from Nico, and you're just like,
what an intro, right?
yeah. And to this day, he'll be in a Nico will be in some kind of interview, and he goes, "You want to hear Eagles Dare?" But they talk about too how that drum intro came about. Steve knew in his head what he wanted, but he couldn't tell him. He couldn't say, I want. And with Nico only playing on one kick drum, it's mind blowing to see that played. And they talk about for weeks, Nico would be down. They rented this hotel in Jersey where they practiced and wrote the songs and whatnot. And Nico would be down every morning. Steve, I got it. And then he'd come down. He'd go, he go, no. And, he goes, and then one day he goes, you do it. And actually, just look it up. Just find it on YouTube, because it's worth even if you're not a drum fan, if you're not no such thing. If you're if you're not a Maiden fan, it's just to watch that intro, and then to hear how it's played, and then to see the technique that it takes to play. It's just something to behold.
I remember saying, I think it was Steve, when they were talking about when they first started working with Nico, that they would get really hard on him, like try to just throw a bunch of stuff. Let's see if he can play this, and like just deliberately give him really hard things to play,
hazing him
to see if he can play it. Because they were just, God damn, trying to figure out where his limits were or whatever. But they were just stunned at how good he was. But anyway.
So anyway.
Wow, a lull. We haven't had a lull in a while.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Point is, getting back to that other thing, it's just like, sometimes it's been my fault, sometimes it's been other people's fault, but I would always own up to it. You know, and I'm not even bitter about anything. Yeah. Because I've taken time to look back at how both parties behaved, and just like, well, that's fucking life sometimes. Sometimes you get along, sometimes you don't. I even sent an apology email to one of my band leaders, because I really cussed him out one time, and I felt bad about it years later. So I wrote back, hey, you know what? I might have not been the coolest way to behave, so I apologize for things I said. Hope you guys are doing well, and that kind of thing. So
and it's a very, very small little path when you really just the names that we come up with, the people that you run across in Austin, their band's finishing and you're going on, or Houston or wherever we've been up in the Northeast and run across bands that we know you from here. And when you get into it, I mean, we've been driving around the country for I don't know how many years now, and these names come up, and these bands and these personalities, and you cross paths with them, and it just it's stunning the amount of times, more times than not, that we've had these bands or personalities bickering about each other and saying this and that, and we're like, man, you're gonna be coming back up on them. They're crossing your path again. Yeah. So be
you can't be a professional musician for 30 years or more and not have that happen.
Yeah. Wait, no, elaborate. I think that went over heads. Yeah. So it's
part of the life we've chosen,
and it's too small. It's too small a community to. That we talked about this too on the before, but it's too small a. It's like an unofficial union, because people will. I remember the first tour we ever went on, speaking to these bands up in the Midwest and and they all play the rock god, meaning, we packed this place, so they give us $20,000 to come in. This is a bar band we're talking about. this is somebody that can't play a toilet, and they're telling us, because the hardest thing to do when you're on the road is you've got to put petrol in the car, you've got to have a hotel, you got to have somewhere to stay, and you got to map this out, right? And when we started, there was no goggle, as you call it. There was no maps on your phone. These were paper maps, and these were word of mouth clubs. And so if you call up this club, you've got to know, A, if you can draw, and B, if you can make enough to get to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ton of work, and the workload doesn't seem to have lessened with the addition of the map on your phone and all that crap. It just, but your reach has improved. We're able to, our Spotify numbers came in today, and it's 120,000 new listeners, or some kind of crazy number, and that's wonderful, and we can use that to when we say, hey, we're coming to your town, blah 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 blah. So that part gets a little bit easier, and it's easier to convince these people to book your band in a club that's never heard of you, or in a town you've never played, or they once they look it up, they can see that you've done your work, you've done your footwork. So, but we call these people these bands, and we'd say, we need to know kind of what's the budget, what's the, if this is a pub we're playing to try to get to a club gig, or to try to get to a bigger venue, we make, we usually make about 500-600 a man, but that's kind of on a slow night, and they're just puffing up. So when you make that phone call, of course, I was never dumb enough to call and say, yeah, well, they get 20, so we'll play.
Right.
And you're at the mercy of these clubs too, because you have to get to point B and C. So, stop A has to have some kind of money to send you off in your way. And when I say small community, this is the epitome of that. Is the bands will tell you anything that makes them sound huge. Oh yeah, I know those guys. They're massive in at face Missouri or whatever. just they're nowhere close to what they say they are, and you get there and you find out real quick. Because you're playing. Why would you do that? Why would you tell somebody that, and then you get there and you find out that the whole thing's it's just it's a front, and there's nothing new. There's nothing. Everything is verified within a second of driving into that place, so we come across it, and you can't hide. When I say it's like a union, you just can't hide the fact that you're playing, and we've got there to that. I guess they thought we weren't going. Is why they all collectively say, yeah, we make a ton, but. You arrive there and you find out that there's, they're never, and then when you play there and they tell you, the staff usually tell you about the bands that do play there.
Right.
So.
Well, and the reality is for bands like that, I mean, their idea of a tour is playing a Friday, Saturday in two different towns in their own state.
Yes.
It's not a tour.
To cross the bridge from each other.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah. So you drive 100 miles to the next city to play a gig, a bar gig. That's not what a tour is. And this is, and people think that, here's our Texas tour. We're playing Dallas and Austin and Houston and San Antonio. It's not a fucking tour.
It's a circuit.
You're just driving out. You're just playing in your home state. It's not a tour.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, it drives me up the wall.
Unprofessional.
I'll give you that. Yeah, you really do. I forget who it was. Henry Rollins or somebody who said that very thing, is that's not a fucking tour.
Right. It's a long weekend. It's fun. Yeah. Let's go have some fun for the weekend.
Yeah.
It's not like we're, 2 weeks in a van and Chad hasn't changed his shoes in a month and I'm wearing the same Roddy Mullen t-shirt. That could happen.
Roddy Mullen, the skateboarder?
He's a skateboarder.
He's one of my favorites.
He's one of my favorites. Him and Mike McGill, two favorites. McGill's Skate Shop, Encinitas, California. Go there.
Ooh,
It's good.
yeah.
It's a cool shop.
What about Mr. Sabian too? Yeah, he's a great skater.
Well, his last name's not Sabian. His last name is actually Zildjian. Can you believe that?
And he's not a skateboarder either.
Nope.
There you go.
He's a fun guy though. Andy Zildjian. He's a fun guy to hang out with.
I was just making reference to that. There you go.
Yep. Sally, Billy, and Andy were the name of his were the name of Robert Zildjian's kids, and Andy is the one that's still running the company.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, neat.
Up there in Meductic, New Brunswick, Canada.
Eh?
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Huh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, gentlemen,
What do you think about all that?
Yeah,
Cover a lot of ground.
we did.
we absolutely did.
Is that a show? Is that a show? That's about an hour.
6'9", good buddy.
69 show. We went dark. We went light. We went humorous. We went serious.
Yeah.
We went professional
I
for a
was gonna say
spell.
that.
I know.
I was
I
gonna
had to
say
get
that.
there.
You beat me to
I
it.
had to get there first because see, I come
Pro,
in.
baby.
I come in early.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot more to say
About
people getting fired and people leaving bands and things like that. That's a very could be a very long conversation.
It just happens, you know. I mean, it's either a clash of personalities. A lot of times, that's my fault. I mean, at least in my situation.
Well, that could happen with anybody.
Yeah, that could happen with anybody, or it's like
what the other people are
maybe
like.
there's a better player waiting in the wings
Yeah.
that all of a sudden became available, or maybe it's just a change of lifestyle, maybe it's a change of whatever. It's just like life, you know.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Because we've definitely had plenty of personality clashes with people who've left this band, but they're all different. They're all different types of clashes and different ways that we rubbed against each other the
Sure.
wrong way, you know? So it's never the same thing, really. But
Yeah, I know for a fact that a lot of the times where I hear the disgruntled side and then the other side, there's more times than not a lot of alcohol or a lot of drug use, a lot of stuff involved in that, and we've just been very careful about the drinking and driving or the drinking and playing or the just that. And I think that's what's led to a lot of the calm after the fact is, because there's not that, well, I know I'm kind of hazy on the thing, but fuck everybody, there's not that, it's been a very straight shot as far as coming or going.
yeah.
Especially with this band, like I said at the very beginning, when I was lucky enough to join, it was just like, because Derailers, I was drinking just to get through the gig, but here I'm like, man, this gig is too physical for me as a drummer, which is a physical instrument anyway. But this band is like, it's like a workout when, when we do the live sets or whatever we do lately too, I'm tired, but not in a bad way. Like I just felt like I just did a workout.
Yeah.
You're sweating, like we're playing outside a lot, which is great. It's always good, like to, be in warmer situations for your body. It's just a good thing to do anyway. Once in a while, a couple hours a week to kind of like, just sweat it out. It's good for you. It's actually good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then just this sheer physicality, and there's things that I want to play that I'm excited about. I was telling Chad, like, I'm practicing every time I have a free minute at school. I practice. I think about new things I want to play and that I've heard on recordings, and I'm trying to bring them out make it part of this band because I know it's stuff that will fit in well with the way we play stuff, and it's just fun to do.
Yeah.
You guys didn't notice this, but at the end of one of the songs, I almost mentioned it, but we went. I did this like big. It's actually the intro to "Over the Mountain" by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh yeah.
That's how I ended
Okay.
That's how I ended the song. I was
I
like,
thought that was cool.
hey, by the way, that was I stole that lick.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
to be able to play stuff like that is fun. For
Yeah.
a drummer, that's
Yeah.
like the stuff that you don't normally get to play on a gig.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing that song, and it was just fun to do at the ending, the big rah, rah, rah. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's talk about me.
I think the fact that none of us smoke weed too is definitely a strong point. between the three of us.
I just like, I like drinking. I like the way it tastes. I like the way, but after the show, it's like a reward. It's like, hey, we did the show. I did have a cold beer that day because it was apparently.
I didn't have any water. It was the only thing I had to drink.
The only thing that was around. But yeah, after the show, it's nice to be like, hey, we just did a kick-ass show. Cheers, fellas.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So
yeah, it's nice.
But I don't want it to interfere with. I don't want it to interfere with shit that I play. That's just. I couldn't do it. It would be a letdown for you, and it'd be a letdown for the people listening. So
yeah, but it takes all that. It takes all that. It takes all the work out. I mean, all the work that you've done. Preparation out of it. If something falls right, if it's a fluke and it's somebody's hammered and it falls right, you still don't even get the full all the gratification, all that satisfaction from doing it because it was kind of a mistake or whatever it was, a flub, but it worked. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen often enough to qualify.
right?
Because you got, you have to get that reward. You just have to feel good about what you play, and I would hate to miss something. That I worked on, because I'm incoherent or
right
passing out or whatever.
Yeah, it's dumb.
So, yeah, and you were talking about after the show. I'm always lit after it. I'm just always ready to play. Ever since we put the in-ear monitors in, these are your ears, kids. Just so you know. When you take all that volume away from your face, over a 4-hour period, it's. I mean, I could do 10 shows a day.
Yeah, there's something to be said for the lack of the now current lack of mental fatigue from not having your ears blown because that takes a lot out of it.
Yeah,
a lot out of you too, physically and mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah.
So having the in-ears, people can laugh about us if they want to. That we're a band that plays at bars and we have in-ears, but it's actually saving what's left of my hearing. But it also, I feel great after I take them out and we're done the show. It's like, I can actually hear what people are saying and talk to people and not be like, and have this, in my head.
It's the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Go home smelling like smoke and ears ringing like crazy.
Not the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know one of the shows that we played, I think it's been a couple of years now, but it wasn't our gear. And I was just talking about it the other day too. We played the show and it was and I used the term loosely, but the sound guy was just trying to see if every single knob could go all the way up and then would kind of back stuff off, which is if anybody's ever been in a room with live music, the last thing you want to do is turn it all the way up and then come down. It's the complete backward way to do it. And it was so intense, so just, and we didn't have the in-ear monitors. So we were just working with the stuff on the floor. And it's all mix and match crap too. It's not good gear. So this stuff is scalding. And I mean, scalding your face. Mm-hmm. It's that loud. It's that intense. And it's bright and it's crispy and it's the worst frequencies that can be going in your face, and just being then and getting through the show. And the show was awful in that I thought we played okay, but the people in the front just couldn't make out the songs.
Yeah,
they couldn't make out what we were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and had said to us that we're sorry, we gotta go.
Yeah,
and, so. But I just remembered that at the end. You were saying at the end of the show being able to hear. Well, at the end of the show, then the music comes on, the house music comes on, which was also
loud as hell
in the PA.
Yeah,
also going through the PA. So it was so you just finished the show. You're getting
just thinking about it.
Yeah, and you're getting your amps and everything off the stage, and you're coming up, and you're. But now the monitors are coming back to you again as loud as you were trying, because you're trying to keep up. You're trying, and with no earplugs, no nothing, and this thing.
Yeah.
And but I remember that one in particular, just because, like I said, we were talking about it the other day, and the sound being so bad that people that knew our stuff and had seen us on a regular basis could not make out.
So yeah, I never saw the reactions that day. That's what I know exactly now. He's talking about without saying where, when. Yeah. Because I remember that was the worst show I think we've ever done, just because of those technical problems. Well, they weren't even really technical problems. It was shortcomings on the on the behalf of people who were running the equipment.
Yeah.
But it makes me think of just one of the really earliest shows I played. The Change was playing at Fitzgerald's. Actually, it was a really great night. We're playing upstairs. It might have been one of the Battle of the Bands gigs we did. And the sound guy up there was a regular guy. I don't remember his name. He was
where was the show?
Fitzgerald's.
Okay.
Yeah, back in 1988. And the main guy who was the sound guy up there was one of these really gruff sound guys that you, especially when you were a young kid, you kind of had to be careful not to piss him off. He was very, very all business and like kind of, I don't know, kind of surly. But he came to really love our stuff. So we were towards the end of our show, and it was we had a really good draw. It was a packed house, and like everybody we knew was there. And he just kept turning us up and up and up, not just in the house, but in our monitors. And I remember at some point, I just remember just feeling dizzy because the monitor in front of me was just smacking me. And I walked over to Andy Zubik, who was the other guitar player, and said, doesn't seem a little unusually loud. He's like, yeah, man, I can't think straight. So Andy got on the mic and said, hey, can you maybe turn the monitors down a little bit? And his voice comes through the monitors just to us, to the audience, like, well, guys, we're having a lot of fun here, so just deal with it. Basically, he refused to turn us down. So we kind of looked at each other like, all right,
that's funny.
Let's finish the show.
He was having fun though.
Yeah, he was.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. We were good at getting on the good side of our sound guys wherever we played, and even as young kids. And it was
we talked about that the other day.
69?
69, yep. But we also talked about let's be professional here.
Yes.
Okay? This is the podcast, for Christ's sake.
Damn it.
About sound guys?
Yeah. About how it's always good just to be like, hey, I'm so and so, good to meet you. Be friendly, not combative, and hopefully that they will do you right just by being friendly to them, because
they're we get the credit, they get no credit,
right?
And they're responsible for everybody's enjoyment, everybody's experience at that. And if you don't treat them better than you would your own band, I mean, you're pissing the wind. They've got no. They don't have to. You don't know what's going out. You don't know what's going out into the, unless you bring your own sound guy. But you don't know what's going out to the crowd. So chances are that guy, if he's had a bad day, and we've seen it. Of course, everybody's seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it. With those guys who've just been pissed on all day, and they're going to take it out on you as well. My job first and foremost is to, different. Just give us a shot. Just don't. We're not gonna treat you like that. I'm gonna shout at you and no disrespect. It's gonna be. Let's start off here. Let's zero the board, as they say, and we'll start again. And it 9 times out of 10 it works. And it's and again, it's not done out of. I'm not trying to patronize or to pull one over on it. It's that this is how we've been since day one.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's
doesn't cost anything to be friendly.
No, and I've said it too. I said bands that don't thank the sound guy or don't thank your host or your thing. It's just I see it as being, because we know how lucky we are, especially present day. We know how lucky we are to do what we do, and if you don't just acknowledge these people for having you out, taking the chance on your band, or that guy, putting his thousands of hours of experience into your mix, into your sound, that show,
it's just the professional thing to do.
Yeah. And we talk about professional be it full time or part time professional. You're that's not going to get old. You're all those hours that you spend putting this, building this show, pissed away because you couldn't tell you couldn't say please, or you couldn't, be cordial to the sound. It's
Yeah.
not worth it.
It's notable that all the times there was a certain member of our band who wound up getting fired, who was almost habitually rude to our sound people. And I remember that because we just never did that. Even if the sound guy was not particularly good, and there were reasons to be frustrated, we just don't do that. We don't.
No.
And this guy, I remember we were playing a show. It was for the Houston Press Music Awards.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what was going wrong, but he was like yelling at the sound guy.
Yeah.
And we were like, stop it. We don't do that in this band, You never, because like you say, you never know when you're going to run into these people again down the line, or who they know, or it's just not, it's never a good idea. If you're having a problem, you've got to try to be civil about it. So,
yeah,
anyway.
I remember that day too well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so,
On the note,
so is it time to 86 to 69?
That's 86 to 69.
all right.
Yeah. So what?
You can tell it's early.
So yeah, way too early. So we do have the live stream coming up on the 13th. We hope that June is going to be real fast, because I don't think we're gonna get to do a live show this month. I was hoping we would live show for people, but I would definitely tune in for the 13th, June 13th, Saturday, because we're going to tell you where we're going to live stream from, because there will be some traffic through, I'm sure. And we're going to take requests, and we're also going to we'll hopefully post some clips. Not hopefully, we'll definitely post some clips from the recording session coming up this week.
Yeah.
So we'll have that, in the next one. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Should be good.
Groovy.
All right, y'all. We'll stay safe.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
And also, just to a reminder, if you like this crap, tell other people that like this crap, and to send them our way. And
don't oversell it.
Don't. Okay. And never. Yeah, just we really appreciate everybody for listening, especially our friends across the water that have been. It's just been really fun to hear how far and wide it's going. I want to say a get well to Tom Shields, Rock Daddy, in Dublin, and get well soon. We're thinking about you. We love you, and also Declan in Dublin, and my mother, and just everybody. Just be safe and take care of each other, and just thank you for listening. We can't wait to do it for you again and play for you live very, very soon.
Yeah, indeed. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.